Hello my friends and welcome to part 3 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Loner Deck Battles. The Zero Extra Festival, or the Extra Zero Festival Edition. Yeah. So first what I want to do is I want to show you the missions that they have right now. So here are the missions that they have, and as you can see, I completed some of them, so that's pretty cool. Um, you have to get to 10 duels in exhibition, which isn't too hard. 30, destroy 30 in exhibition, which shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Um, Also, like, negating something and destroying it also counts as well. I don't think it should be too terribly difficult to do. You could, like, if you're like having trouble, you could just make a deck and put like a bunch of like mass destruction stuff inside, like Raigeki, Lightning Storm, even like budget stuff like Torrential Tribute, and then maybe Trap Trick if you have it to search for the Torrential Tribute, or even Fury. You could put both of those searching the Torrential Tribute, or simply just 3 Torrential Tributes. And then there's probably other budget ways of like destroying a bunch of stuff. Like Hoppy's Feather Dust, I think you get that one for free. And then Raigeki, I think, is another one you pretty much get for free. And then Lightning Storm is still available in one of those bundles, so that shouldn't be too hard to get. And then at least one of the Solemns are available. Solemn Judgment is available in one of the bundles, so yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to get either. So like you have quite a few options right there. Like they're either rare or you can pretty much like get them guaranteed from bundles. So it shouldn't be too difficult. And then don't summon a monster in exhibition. If you're having trouble with this one, you could always just play that Floowandareeze loner deck, or like a Floowandareeze deck of your own. And like you should be able to get it done pretty easy with that one, since like that one can get you like help you like normal summon quite a bit during your turn, or like during your opponent's turn even. And then special summon a monster in exhibition. That shouldn't be too hard. Like the Adventurer and the Machina loner decks are probably better for this one, since they can do quite a few special summons. Or you could just like pretty much like use your own deck for this also. But yeah. So yeah, those are just some of the tips I have for these missions. I might have to actually go back to the Floowandareeze deck myself, because like I'm playing a deck that doesn't really do much of special normal summoning at all, so I might actually have a little bit of trouble completing it with my own deck. So I might have to go back to Floowandareeze. Maybe I could even like make kind of like my own creation, copy the deck, and see what I can do with my own creation. Of course, it's not going to look like the best, but I can at least put some of the better staples in, at least, so I can maybe like hopefully get the no sum done a bit better. Yeah. Anyway, I'll go into decks now. Oh yeah, and also the notification. It's nothing much. It's just like talking about like how like now the extra Zero Festival is now open to dueling, basically. So they're talking about like how you're winning medals for winning. And then they're talking about these two are like the ones to look out for. The Palladium Oracle Mahar, a priest who swore his undying loyalty to an ancient king, is masterful magic and banishing darkness. And then you get simply the Extra Zero Festival title, a title given to a duelist who achieves success using only cards from the main deck. Even without special powers, this duelist's polished deck is a major force to be reckoned with. I mean, technically you have special powers still in like if they want to consider like extra deck cards kind of special powers. I mean, I kind of consider like um, ritual summoning kind of an extra a special power as well. Like those aren't really like those are kind of special monsters too, and yet you're allowed to use those if you want. Um, yeah, it talks about like you only have a main deck this time. You won't be able to rely on the X deck. Take on opponents with new tactics and seize victory. It says a few different things, but I think it's mostly the same. So like pretty much just like you can't use an extra deck. Um, so I think it's pretty interesting. Anyway, let's go into Duel now. Okay, so starting off with not the machine activation deck. I was playing a little bit of these myself just so I could like get down some of the plays. And there were a few things that I caught with this deck that I didn't even think about. This deck is not as bad as I thought because of the other field spell. Forest of Lost Flowers. Monsters you control equipped with Starlight Papillon are unaffected by opponent's activate effect. Which actually isn't that bad. Because you can just equip the Starlight Papillon to the Adventurer token. You can easily search for it with the Faithful Adventure, either during your turn or your opponent's turn. And then you can equip the Starlight Papillon to the Adventure token, and now it's unaffected by their activated effects such as Raigeki, Lightning Storm, a lot of their mass destruction. Actually, a lot of their cards. It's kind of like it's a little bit less fat. It's a little bit more. It's still gonna be a little bit more fragile than stuff that's completely immune to everything. Wait, no, actually, no, I think it's about as good as like something that's pretty much completely immune to everything. I can't see like by your opponent's activated effects. So like I guess like continuous effects still affect it. I'm not exactly sure what that entails, but like it should be real. This is really still really solid protection, I would say. Like really the only thing I can think of that could like get it off the field at this point, because it can't even be destroyed by battle while you control an equipped spell as long as you have this card on the field. At least once per turn it can't. So I guess like the second time it can still be, but if you can still, but Starlight Papillon also causes your opponent's monsters to lose attack. So if you have enough other monsters on the field, like you could have your opponents, even with, yeah, no, I don't think the Adventure token counts in that, but even if, like if you have a bunch of your other adventure stuff, like you could still have. Yeah, this only counts monsters, right? Yeah, it does. So you could still have that, your opponent's monsters lose quite a bit of attack. If you have like a pretty full board of other adventure stuff. But like even without, like it still seems pretty good. I mean like if they're able to like attack into it twice and be able to destroy it on a second time though. I mean I guess that is kind of also a problem, but I mean, like, this deck does seem. I think it does have potential because of this card. Actually, it may still be one of the weaker ones. I feel because like you still need to get to this card. You still need to get to Starlight Papillon, which shouldn't be that hard if you have all this stuff. But you can also like the first duel I remember I was playing this deck. I ran into a problem where I didn't get any of the Rite of Aramesir at all, and then if you like do that, it's pretty much an auto loss. But I guess that's not such a big deal since you can just like can see out of that one and then go into the next one. So I guess like not being the most consistent isn't the biggest deal, because this is still definitely consistent enough. It only took me 2 duels to actually get a good hand, which isn't too bad. So yeah, those are basically it. And then I already, like, I think went over the lines of plays. They're pretty much like as I thought. So yeah, I'm just gonna, I don't know if I really need to do like much of a walkthrough here, because I think it's pretty much straightforward. I would say the one thing you want to do is you want to try to get to Forest of Lost Flowers as soon as possible, because this has much better protection than this. This is just about your opponent not being able to activate cards effects during the battle phase, which is kind of cool. It means they can't like act, but like I think like most of the time at this point, your opponent probably doesn't really care about that. Like, which is like the whole reason why ancient gears aren't that great nowadays, because most decks have like cards that are activatable at pretty much any time. There are still a couple of decks that do have effects that activate during the battle phase. So, like, having it during those aren't bad. Having it against those decks aren't too bad. But I think like the majority of the time you want to have Force of Lost Flowers as soon as possible, and then just stick with this one. And then you don't want to get rid of this one. You want to pretty much stick with this one for as long as you can. Okay. So yeah. So that was the only thing that I was thinking about. And then of course you want to also try to get out the like Wandering Griffin when you can, to like try to like put up an extra negate too. That can be like such, like, as long as you keep having like, as long as you still have Faithful Adventure out. So yeah, I think those are pretty much the plays. I'll show you here now. Like, this should help cover up the rest of the deck here, like doing an actual duel with it. And then I'll try to get into the review section if I can, and if not, I can always like set that as a premiere for Thursday, because I won't be able to like actually like upload it on Thursday. That's okay. Yeah, my opponent's definitely playing some kind of non-loner deck, probably Eldritch, I'm guessing. Card D. I still don't think card D is really that great of a draw card, even if you're not playing like other normal summons. I think there's so many other good draw cards out there. And then Aramesir, probably a good one. Yeah. I'll play Aramesir. Hopefully my opponent doesn't stop this. Yep. Place it right there. Aw, man, the Ring of Destruction. See, if they're able to get rid of it right away, then that's really bad. See, and then a lot of the times the opponent does know the weakness of this deck. Pretty much now, what am I supposed to do? I mean, I can technically... Or can I only activate one Aramesir per turn? Yeah, I can. See, that's another thing that, like, if they stop the first one, now I have to wait a full nother round just to, like, try again. I'll still just... Guess I can use this as... I'm still... I guess I'll just do this. I'll still do her effect. Just so I can have it. Oh, wait. I wonder if I should do from... I think I should always do from the graveyard first. So then, like, I still have the one in my deck. That's what I'm thinking, anyway. I'll just no summon the Magicore so I have something to protect me. I mean, technically I can add an equipped spell. I might as well add an equipped spell. Guess I could add Draco back? Yeah, I think I might as well. Yeah, see, it still has the big problem of, like... See, like, your opponent can still get rid of the Adventurer token before you bring out the equip spell. Or, like, before you even have time to maybe, like, equip it with that Starlit Papillon. If they have something right away for it, that's really bad. Because you have to, like, get on the field first in order to get it equipped with the Starlit Papillon. Man. Okay. Well, I won't try to concede until I have to. Man, of course I get Lightning Storm when I have a stinking when I have a few face ups. Oh well. Let's try this Aramesir again. Come on, really? Oh well, this is actually okay. Oh, I guess my opponent isn't playing Eldritch, playing a Bun deck. Okay, so I think I'll just put in attack position this time. Now I can equip it with some. Oh, come on! Ring of Destruction again? But I don't think a lot of... I mean, of course, like, Solemn Judgment is also really bad if they're saving it for the summon of the token. Like, if your opponent's smart, like, they'll probably save some of the instructions, like, if they have some... for like the token. Like, I think that's the best way to do it. Like, you pretty much get rid of the token for this deck, like, and it's pretty much screwed up. But if you can, like, get to the Starlight Papillon Forest of Flowers combo, that's pretty good. The problem is, like, sometimes just getting there can be kind of difficult if your opponent has, like, disruptions. And, like, without the token, this deck pretty much just doesn't function. And now what do I even have? I mean, technically what I can do now is that I can still at least battle, and then at least his effect still works without the token, but I'm not sure how good it's going to be. I might as well do it like that. I guess I'll send the Draco back. I don't even know. But you know, sometimes for whatever reason my opponent still just concedes. Which I don't mind at all, but like, yeah, it was definitely probably, if my opponent had conceded, it probably would have been real tough to like win that one. I'm not sure. That could have easily gone either way, but I'm still gonna count even though my opponent conceded. So I feel like you still saw most of the deck, and plus I need to get into the next one. So the next one is Floowandareeze. Oh, and some of the things I wasn't thinking of for like how you could like change up this deck a little bit is like there are a few good like tribute summon wing beasts out there, like Ryza and and Mist Valley Apex Avian are two pretty good ones. The Ryza, there's both the regular Monarch, which like returns cards to the top of the deck, I believe it is. Or like there's the Mega Monarch, which like I think basically has a more powerful effect of that. Here, I can show you real quick. And then Mist Valley Apex Avian basically just returns itself to the hand in order to negate something. So the cool thing about Apex Avian is like you can like pretty much like use that effect over and over again because you can like tribute for it over and over again because he's so like Mist Valley Apex Avian is probably not a bad card for the deck. Anyway, here's the I believe this is the one that just had the Ryza and the Apex Avian. This one basically, yeah, this one is all about placing cards on top of the field to the graveyard. The regular Ryza just does one card on the field, but this one does one card on the field and in the graveyard. And since you're tributing it using a win monster, since all the Floowandareeze are wins, you get the additional effect that you get to target an additional card on the field. So you can like do up to 3 to place them on the top of the deck. Pretty easily. So yeah, that's really good. So yeah, those are pretty good ones. And then of course the terraforming right there. And see, like just as I said, like the Dimensional Fisher is a pretty good tech card, and then there's a Macrocosmos. Anyway, yeah, and then my opponent's probably just playing like this kind of ratio, I think, because like probably doesn't want to like craft any more Macrocosmos. So I think like still like one might be fine. But if you did like want to like just max them out, like that'd be fine too. And then this is another one that's not in the loner deck. This one basically allows you to reveal 3 level 1s from your deck. Your opponent adds one of them to the hand. You add one of them to the hand, and then you shuffle the third one to the deck. So that's kind of cool to like be able to search for like one of your level 1 monsters. You have to search for 3 with different names, which you have pretty much. You can play the Token, the England, and the Robina, something like that. And then like your opponent just like does that. And then if your opponent's playing this, I think the best card to like pick, like I don't think you're gonna be able to get the effects off of any of these. So I think the best one to pick is always either the to like have in your hand, probably the Robina, because then because I think the Robina is actually the strongest, because Robina guarantees another normal summon. And then England, and then the others like only really guaranteeing an extra normal summon if you can either pull off their effects, or like if you already have another level 1 in your hand. So yeah, I think if they're playing Jackman, definitely pick the Robina for yourself. I think that's the best way to do it. Anyway, I think I pretty much went over all the lines you can make in Floowandareeze. You pretty much want to just know summon as much as you can. Try to get the Floowandareeze and the Magnificent Map into your hand as quickly as you can. And you can do that via the M pen. So, if you have neither one in your hand, you probably want to search for the M pen off of the England, so you can get to the Floowandareeze and the Magnificent Map. And then that's probably like the best search there. And then if you already have the map, Floowandareeze and the Unexplored Winds isn't too bad, since it allows you to like use your opponent's monsters as tributes for tribute summons later on, or like maybe like even like some of the traps. This one isn't a bad one to go into either, because then you can just like, and most of the time you'll be able to like pull it off. Most of the time you'll be going up against a special summon heavy deck. So maybe this one will actually be the best one to go for, but like maybe going for the Floowandareeze, like, and then if you already have that, maybe then your third choice could be this one. I don't know. I'll just go into deck, show you a little bit. I think it's also pretty easy. I think these decks are fairly easy to understand, which is something I like about that. So I'll go into a duel, and then if I notice anything else, I can always like say that afterwards, if I have time before going to the last deck's duel. But yeah, I think I would also suggest playing this deck if you're having trouble with the normal summon mission. Either the loner deck version of it, or like your own version of it with a few stronger cards. Like even if you don't have all the strong cards with it, like if you went to enough Wandering Travelers, you should be able to have the majority of the good stuff. Like you really don't need a lot of like out of archetype cards. Like really, like you could just use whatever staple cards you have, like, and even something like that may be better than like the loner deck variation. Yeah. And then like Jack in the Hand is like not too bad. Like it's a rare too, so you could always just like run that. That's probably about something I'll do. So my opponent's playing a Incantation Blue Eyes Ritual deck. Okay, and then Chaos Mac Dragon, Impale on Wall. I guess a lot of decks here do kind of banish, so I mean it's not too bad. So I don't think target one card in the graveyard. Wow, that completely shuts my deck down, actually. Because now I can't even activate that effect. Well, at least what I can do is I can like do it during my opponent's turn. So this is still okay. So I'll like do the infinite impermanence to shut down the Impale on Wall, and then I can like do this trap to like be able to normal summon one of my street guys during this turn now, and then I can be able to like banish. I don't know what's happening. Special summon one incantation monster from your deck. Oh, okay. So I'll probably just banish the incantation. I mean, negate the effects of the incantation, so I can also negate the Impale on Wall. Maybe. Yeah. I can't even target the other one. Nice. So now it also shuts down the Impale on Wall too, which is very good. Yeah, I have to do this. And then I can like do that to go into Floowandareeze, but what does that do? I don't think that targets, so it should be fine. Yeah, no, this should be fine. Oh, yeah. So I'll go ahead and do it like this. Now I can do the 3. Oh, man, I really... Oh. Okay, so I'll banish... Does this have a graveyard effect? Guess I'll banish one of these then. I don't think it does. So I'm gonna banish one of the monsters. Oh man. I really hope that... Okay. Well, that answers my question. So that's another thing about this deck. All of these are... Yeah, hard once per turns. So you really, like, so you can't really have, like, the same monster in your hand or else, like... You know what, I think either way, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But what I could have done is, like, if he would have went into main phase 2, I could have done it. I might as well attack into the other guy, though. So yeah, that's another thing to think about. You may have to like think about your plays a little bit more if you have like 2 of the same level 1 guy, because you can't activate both of them. You can only activate one of them. They all have a hard once per turn, so that's another thing. You could be stuck with 2 of the same level 1 guys then, and then now you can only like really, you can still only really do an extra known summon with one of them. Now I'm probably going to lose. If my opponent would have went into main phase 2, I probably could have done it, but I just didn't realize. I'm going to wait until my opponent like sees that they're gonna get the game here. So yeah, I suppose that's another line of play to think about. Like there, like it would have probably been different if I would have waited until the end of the battle phase. I don't think my opponent would have had to gone into the main phase 2, but like I think chances are that my opponent would have, and I would have been able to do that, and I still would have been able to like tribute summon on my own turn, and then things would have gone a lot different in that case. But I wasn't thinking. I didn't realize that like they all had a hard once per turn. I was kind of worried that they would though. So things might have gone different, but who knows? It's fine though. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, now just go into the last deck, the Machina activation. Okay, so here's the last deck here. So, what I can say about this deck is like, this deck could be fairly good against skill drain. Maybe even like there can only be one rivalry goes in match if like you like have like Machina Fortress already in your hand, because like he's a pretty good card. Like, oh, and another thing about this like is like he has like pretty solid attack stats versus True Draco. So like a simple Machina Fortress can be actually not too bad against True Dracos. Like I was able to beat a True Draco with it. I don't know if they had the best hand, but like I was still able to beat it, which was still pretty cool. Really like the monster that like can get rid of it is that one that searches for traps, because I believe his attack is 2500. I guess like they could also have the field spell on that would be able to raise their attacks above the fortress. But like just baseline, like this can be a kind of a hard card for them to out just because a lot of their monsters have lower attack than this card just baseline. And then even if they do destroy it, like, it's still going to be able to get its effect even with skill drain, since it's a destroy by battle effect and doesn't activate until it's sent to the graveyard, so you still get to like destroy a card. So like this card alone could kind of get around a few of like those like stall cards, which I'm thinking not too bad. And then it's got like other ways that it can kind of get around that as well, since like a few of the other cards can kind of get around skill drain because like they mostly have like effects that like either happen when they get destroyed while they're in the graveyard. This one won't be able to activate its like on-field effect, but like that's not like too bad because like even if they can't activate the on-field effect, they can still get themselves out of the graveyard, and they still have a lot of attack that your opponent has to contend with. So I think this deck does actually okay against skill drain. So that's one thing I want to say there. So like pretty much like if you're under skill drain, I would say don't worry too much. You can always, as long as you can bring out one of your bigger guys still. You might have a little bit of trouble, but if you're still able to, like you should at least try to get around skill drain, because you could be surprised like how well this deck is able to like. That's all I really want to say about that. So I'm gonna go into the Machina activation. So here it is. So now I'll do a duel with this. I think I will have time for the reviews. That's really cool. And then you can definitely let me know what you think. Like, if you think like one duel with each is okay, so I can like get through them all in a single video. If you'd rather have me like dedicate a video to each. Like this time I wasn't really able to do it anyway because like I'm kind of be gone for a lot of this festival. Like I only have literally a few days to get done and everything. So I still wanted to just show you like all the important stuff, give you like a general idea behind each deck. But yeah, definitely let me know if this is like the way you prefer and I can keep doing it. I think if no one says anything, I might keep doing it this way because it's kind of fun. Yeah, see, this also has a pretty easy way of special summoning it from the hand. But the only problem with this one is like it's not that great without its like on-field effect. But I guess like just the fact that you can like special summon like quite a few from out of the hand, like even your high level monsters, maybe like may help against skill drain a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, I'll do Paw of Desires. Actually, I should probably do the Machina redeployment first. Discard one card, add 2 Machina monsters. Oh, yeah, so what I'll do, I was wondering. I'll go ahead and discard 1 Machina card to add 2 Machina cards with different names. I'll discard the gear frame. So I think I'm gonna add the... Ooh, this one is really good because I can like send right to the graveyard, but I could also... So I think I'm gonna add the Machina Citadel. Yeah, I'll add the Citadel. And I'll also add Machina Fortress. Should I? I think I'm gonna add Machina Overdrive, actually. So now what I'll do is I'll do this. Dang it. Well, that's okay though. Because I can still do this one. I'll discard the Citadel. I'll special summon it in defense. What is this one? Oh. So this one will allow me to... Oh, you know what? I think I did the wrong thing, but that's okay. Oh boy, the Solemn Judgment. Okay. Well, I'll just go ahead and battle with the gear frame. Oh! Thank you. Now I can, like, special summon the Citadel. So I think this deck has a lot of recursion. Like, see, like, I was able to play through a bunch of, like, different stuff. Like, this is why I'm thinking this is probably the best deck. Because there's a lot of ways to, like, still come out ahead, even if your opponent has a lot of disruption. So now I have this. So now, like, during my opponent's turn, I can always just, like, destroy the Radiator to special summon a different Machina from my deck. Maybe I should do this now. Oh, you know what? This is great. Because I can just do it again. So this is actually really great here. So now what I can do here is I think maybe I'll get this one out, because then I can get its effect off, I believe. So I'll special summon this. Oh, apparently not. But that's okay, because now I get special summon it again. So yeah, so that's how that works. I should have done the Machina Fortress. I didn't realize. Now that I did, though. Hopefully my opponent doesn't have anything. Good. So I think what I'm going to do... Man. So as long as my opponent doesn't have anything here. Let's see. Oh yeah, now you can banish this from the graveyard. And then shuffle a few. And then draw. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll return this one, and this one to my deck. Oh, so that's what that is. Paleozoic Diamiscus. But I still have something I can normal summon. So I still have game here. So it's so totally okay. See, here I'll show you what I can do here. Yeah, so I'll activate the effect. Aw, man, it didn't let me see, but... Here, I want to look it up. I think I may have already mentioned, but as a reminder... Yeah, see, I think this one... Here, so, but first I'll go over that little play. So, with the Metal Cruncher, that says you can reveal 3 Earth Machines from your deck. You can actually reveal 2 of the same, since they don't have to have different names. You can actually reveal 2 of the same, and then 1 different, different of your Machinas, since all Earth Machines. And they have a pretty good chance of specifically getting the one you like reveal 2 of, so you have a pretty good chance. What you could probably do is like, yeah, you could reveal 2 of the one you really want to get, and then 1 of the one that you wouldn't mind like getting as a backup, and then that would be pretty good. But yeah, that that was actually a really good, I think, one opponent to go up against. It really shows you that it can play through a lot of disruptions, this deck. So I think this is definitely the best deck. The Adventurous Summoning isn't too bad either because of the Force, but the only problem with the Force one is you have to get to that play. If your opponent can still disrupt you before you get to that play, if they have disruption before that, and sometimes might be kind of hard to get to the Force right away. And if you don't have the Force in your hand, you kind of only have a few ways of getting Force into your hand, and I mean, you can get to it using Faithful Adventure, but you kind of would rather search for your monsters. Although I guess if you already have the adventure token, it might be worth. Oh, it has to add a monster. So what ways do you really have of adding the? I don't know. I think it might be just a Planet Pathfinder, really, or of course the ZLM. So I don't think you actually have very many ways of actually getting to your field spells. Do you? I don't think so. Yeah, actually, now I'm thinking about it, I don't think you have very many ways. So that kind of seems... Yeah, you're kind of relying a lot on your field spells, I feel. Especially the Force of Lost Flowers. And you don't really have very many ways of getting to field spells. I think it's really just a Planet Pathfinder. Since the Faithful Adventure only adds monsters that mention adventure tokens. See, I think that's the thing that I got confused about. This only adds the monsters, but not the field spells. So really, I think the only thing you have to add the field spell is this one. Which actually, doesn't really make it that great. When you're so reliant on the field spell to protect your token. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna say the Adventurous Summoning because of the fragility of it, and even just getting to Force of Lost Flowers, that makes a lot less that makes the token a lot less fragile. That's kind of hard to get. I'm gonna say this one's definitely the weakest because disruption is a hard, and this has a hard time coming back if it loses a token. You kind of need another Rite of Aramesir, but the problem is if your opponent destroys the token when you try summoning it during the Rite of Aramesir, then you have to wait until your next turn. You have to you have to let your opponent take a turn before you can even try summoning a token again. But then you're just letting your opponent set up even more disruption, and then they're more likely to be able to have something to destroy your second token that you're trying to summon now. So yeah. Yeah, so pretty much you need to get to a token. So it seems really it's way too reliant on the token when you're running a pure version of this deck. you could probably definitely like find ways of like making it a lot better. But the base version of the lone deck, I would say the weakest. Floowandareeze is probably the second weakest. But it's actually not too bad. Another problem with this one though, like, is if you like have like multiple copies of the same level 1 guy, you won't be able to get both of the effects off. So like sometimes it may be a little bit difficult to like go into like multiple norm summon just because of that. So like that's another thing that could happen. Yeah, but it doesn't seem too bad. Like there's definitely like ways you can like kind of come back from it. But if your opponent has a few negates, that can kind of suck for this deck too. I'm gonna say Machina Fort activation is the strongest though, because this deck has a few ways of being able to like make a comeback. Like with a good enough hand, it definitely has a few ways to make a comeback, even if your opponent has negation. Like you saw how my opponent had a few negation, but I was still able to do stuff. And I was able, like, and even on a Regeki, I was able, like, that Machina Alva drive was really good because I was able to get the Citadel back in the graveyard and then special summon it off when, like, the Regeki actually took effect after this overdrive took effect. But as you saw, at least with this one, this isn't, this must not be a quick effect, so, like, either that or like it had to like stay on the field in order to like be able to like activate the metal cruncher. So just like if your opponent like is like activating a Regeki, don't like summon this one. You won't be able to get the effect. As you saw, it probably would have been better honestly if I would just summon the Machina Fortress, either the Machina Fortress or the Ruin Force. Actually, I don't think I would have been able to like special summon the Ruin Force, but the Machina Fortress would be a good one to special summon. So yeah. Also, that would have been even better summoning the Machina Fortress if my opponent would have like had like a few like cards left on the field when they were activating the Regeki. But like it's fine either way. And then I was able to come back with the Citadel. And then even though my opponent had the Dim Miscus, I still had like a card to like summon to get in for that little bit of extra damage needed. So yeah, I'm going to say this one definitely seems like the strongest deck of the three. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this one's the strongest. But still, the Floowandareeze is pretty nice too because it really helps you get done with a mission. So if you really need help with the gnome summon, the Floowandareeze loner deck isn't that bad of a play either. So like, and like, since like it's not like too terribly weak, I feel, you could get done with the mission while still climbing. So this is something that has over the other two, since the gnome summon mission may not be the easiest to get through by itself. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and stop the review and everything portion. Anyway, I really hoped everyone enjoyed me going through the gameplay of the deck, the little bit of lines of plays you can make, and the final review section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to let me know what I could do better next time. If there's still a few improvements I can make, I'll be open to that. And now for the rest of you, I'll go ahead and go into a pack opening. Oh, and also you can like ring that notification bell if you'd like to be notified about my next video, which will be the Let's Play tomorrow. So I think that's perfect because now I don't have to make that premiere video. So here we go. Here's the packs. And then I think I'll just skip to the end to ensure that I have enough time to like talk about the stuff. Okay, cool. So I got a Blue Eyes card. That makes 3, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad I got that. In case I ever want to build a Blue Eyes deck. I probably won't, but like it's pretty cool that I got a playset of that now. There's a Critter Incarnate, Road Nut. Hackworm, Solitude, Flying Fist, Silver Bow and Arrow, Combination Attack, Back to Square 1, Mitrazor, Deal a Phantom, Curse of Royal, Pineapple Blast, No Entry, Last Minute Cancel, and that's all of them. Exile Force is also was actually a pretty good card for back in the day, like way back in the day when they didn't have like when you could actually like afford to like do your normal summon this, and that, since like it can destroy any monster on the field, even face down monsters. But nowadays, of course, it's not that great. So yeah, that's like something I want to point out there. So a few of my favorites, I think I'm gonna have a few. I'm gonna say first of all Blue Eyes White Dragon, just because it got me to a playset now, and like even like if I'm never gonna play the deck, it's still nice to have a playset since one of my friends really likes Blue Eyes, so it's cool that I have a playset now in his honor. And then I think also another one of my favorite cards is going to be that Exile Force. I never did play back in the day, but it's still kind of cool to have one of the cards that were really good for classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically. And I think that's about it for going over my favorite cards. Also, Roadnut has some funny effect, has like kind of like funny effect text going over like going over nut counters because squirrels like to collect nuts. So it's kind of a funny effect text, I think, funny card design. So I'm gonna say this card is also like one of my favorite because of that. Also like because like it's kind of like a joke like on how much like squirrels like nuts, so they said to like make it so that you can like give it a bunch of nut counters. That's kind of cool. And then like because it's like it needs to collect all those nuts to like be able to like store them, like so that it can like have plenty of food for when like it's going into hibernation. But then it wants to like get rid of one of those nuts, to like I guess like sometimes you have to sacrifice a nut in order to protect your home, so I guess it could be kind of like that. Like you gotta sometimes sacrifice a little bit of your food if it means you're gonna be able to protect your home from predators. So it could be kind of like that. So I hope you enjoyed this pack opening. For those of you who stayed, for those who did, either it would be wonderful if you can let me know either that you stayed for the pack opening, or you can also just let me know what some of your favorite cards were. And of course, if you like comment that, I'll know you have stayed for the pack opening as well. So yeah. Anyway, I'll see you in tomorrow's Let's Play. I hope you enjoy that. I'll be going into a new solo mode gate with that, so that should be pretty exciting. And then I'll be playing a few loner decks this tomorrow. So yeah. Okay. Bye everyone.